Hi, everyone. Do, 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 do. Welcome. Hi. So today we are talking about success block number 18, imposter syndrome. To clarify, I want to talk about the myth of imposter syndrome and where it comes from, really, because when this study, let me just go into detail. Let me give you some proof. All right. So, imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. And it disproportionately affects high achieving people, specifically high achieving marginalized people. So, by gender, sexuality, class, this is where imposter syndrome hits these high achieving people with marginalized identities. Now, the study where imposter syndrome first came to be, was first coined, was in the 70s by psychologists Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Imes. So they developed this concept, and their 1978 study found they focused on high achieving women specifically. So you notice that a lot of times when people are talking about imposter syndrome, they do hold a marginalized identity. And also, the thing is, with imposter syndrome, when this study took place, um, the the studies for how internalized oppression, how microaggression, and all these other things in the workplace or affects certain leaders with marginalized identities, those studies didn't come to pass until after this. So had those studies come to be during the same time, most likely a lot of people wouldn't be using the term imposter syndrome to describe what they are dealing with. So, imposter syndrome, you have to kind of realize where the source is. But let's talk about first, like how it impacts your business. And so, I'm going to share sneaky signs of imposter syndrome. So, the first sign of imposter syndrome, and this is a sneaky sign, you don't like to work in groups because you fear you won't get credit. And so this was a very sneaky sign of imposter syndrome because you feel, and based on experience, you feel like people will take your ideas or people will not give you credit because you don't feel like you have enough power, or you don't feel like you're really supposed to be in this group. You don't feel like your seat at the table is secure. And it may be because of other factors, like the environment where the table lies isn't really good for you to be in the first place, or you're just holding on to past instances and stories where you people will tell you that you won't get credit, and it's happened to you before. Oh, really? Yeah. It takes a while to kind of figure it out. Number two, you overwork yourself on projects so you feel worthy of your success. This is something where when I hit 420 something sessions, I was like going to keep going to 500, and I stopped myself and I was like, why? And I took off for a month. And now my schedule has kind of become more regular, but it was like I felt like I needed, and initially when I started my practice, I felt like I needed to hypnotize everybody and anybody in order to feel worthy about how much I was charging, worthy about how much I was making in my practice. Because for me at the time, healing wasn't a real business. It's like, yeah, and it's very easy to do this with workaholics around you. So this pattern, I took it with me from leaving corporate. So even though I left corporate, I took it with me in business. So I developed it, and then we develop it in school because, since school, we're indoctrinated in hard work, and you'll be successful. Hard work and you'll be successful. No one has ever told us in school that, hey, if you just relax and allow things to flow, you'll be successful. Can you imagine like your third grade teacher telling you that? That would be an awesome third grade teacher, honestly. But we were indoctrinated in this philosophy, and then as someone with marginalized identity, and if you're someone with a marginalized identity, you feel like you need to work extra hard to prove that you're meant to be there, because people will kind of question your credentials, question your success. And you want to be able to show proof, like, look at all the work that I did. I'm supposed to be here. I deserve to be here. I deserve to be at the top. And, and that is not a way to scale and run a sustainable business, overworking yourself. That's what led to my adrenal failure. So the next one is you have difficulty sticking to one identity or project. As someone that has been diagnosed with ADHD and at an early age, I'm very aware of this. And if you're someone that's familiar with human design, if you're a manifesting generator, you're probably going from project to project. So you have to kind of distinguish whether this is from your ADHD, from your energy profile, or is this because you don't truly feel safe to be who you are. You don't feel safe to be who you are. Number 4, you become obsessed with others copying you because you feel replaceable. So from number 3, if you don't feel safe to be who you are, you kind of take on what's going on in the industry. You kind of see the trends and you try to follow them, or you try to kind of be like the person that you see as the most successful. So you do that, and then you might change it up a bit to make it your own, but it's still really not your own because it's not really founded on you and your basis. And so others copying you makes you feel very threatened because you feel replaceable. So you become obsessed with people copying that little bit of change that you made after you kind of copied someone else. And this is something that's very common within the coaching industry. You see someone do something, or you see one of the top coaches do something, then you see other new coaches or new people doing the same thing. And this happens in e-commerce. Someone will get a product, and then other people will get the product too and try to change it up. And then soon you kind of look around and say, oh, is that person copying because I made this little change? So you become obsessed with it. So instead of focusing on your customers and clients, you focus on your competitors, your so-called quote unquote competitors. So you're always in this state of fight. Five, you compare yourself to anyone and everyone, even if they're not in your field or industry. So you could be running your business and you're doing okay, but you don't feel safe in your business. You still feel shaky, and you still feel like an imposter. And so you may be a coach or something, and you see someone that has a crystal shop. You may be a spiritual coach and you see someone that has a crystal shop and they just announced that they hit their first million in sales. And then you look at yourself and your coaching practice, even though it's a completely different type of business and industry, you're gonna say, I haven't hit seven figures. I'm a failure. I knew it. I knew I'm an imposter. I knew I'm not supposed to be here. Why am I even taking clients when that person over there that has an e-commerce business has hit 1 million, or that person over there that does content creation has 1 million. You have a completely different business model and you're a completely different industry, but you're still comparing yourself to these people, maybe based on something like age or race or gender, or even from the same town. And so that energy of comparison will limit you in business, and it has been limiting you. And I've experienced this. I remember I caught myself and I was like, do you really want to sell tires, Juliet? Like, because someone hit like 6 figures in 2 weeks. Like, they hit 100K in 2 weeks because they sold tires. And I was like, wow, see, I had my business for a year or like 6 months and I hadn't hit 6 figures. And so I felt down. And I was like, wait, do you want to sell tires, Juliet? Like, tires is very profitable, but I don't want to sell tires. Why am I comparing myself to a tire store? Completely different. So I've definitely experienced this. Six, you attribute your success to luck, but you also do this to others by downplaying their success. I remember when I was in corporate sales, my background is in tech sales, and I was working hard, as per usual, working hard to get this deal. And this deal, I've been working on this deal for about 7 months. It was with Ralph Lauren, the company. And I kept in contact with the person, the decision maker, in contact with them, and over the few months. And then finally, he was ready to buy. And it was a 6-figure contract. And at that time, I closed like small deals, like 10,000, 20,000, but never a 6-figure deal like this. And so I finally closed it, they announced it. And I remember the only other woman on my team, the only other woman on my sales team. And once again, I was working late. I stayed, even after I closed the deal, I was still there late, trying to close some more deals. She came over and she said, oh, wow, congratulations. You were really lucky, huh? You were really lucky. You were really lucky, huh? To get that. After, working on this for 8 months and doing all this work, someone comes to say that I was lucky to get this deal. And at that time, I was so upset. I was so angry. But then now that I'm older, I realized that because later on she self-sabotaged her success with the company because she felt imposter syndrome as one of the top female salespeople. And so I realized when I was doing this, because I thought, oh, that person's just lucky. Oh, they just did this. Oh, this and that. And it was something that I held internally. And I was projecting this onto them. So your success is due to your knowledge, to your talent, and to your effort and to your energy. Okay? And others' success can be attributed to luck as well, but that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with luck. Luck is a combination of all those things. Luck isn't something that just comes from the air. Luck is a combination of timing, being prepared for it, the opportunity, and being able to run with the opportunity. So that's really a skill. Luck is actually a skill, not something magical. So even if someone tells you that you're lucky, say thank you, because it's a combination of all those skills plus energy. So yes, I am in fact lucky. Number 7, you take courses. I'm sorry about the formatting. You take courses, get new certifications, and strive to be smarter than everyone, but then you get upset when someone less certified succeeds or accomplishes something you felt you deserve. So I'm not sure if you all are on TikTok, but and also I see this on Twitter too. I don't see a lot of it on Instagram, but I don't really scroll on Instagram. Instagram is not really designed for scrolling, which is great still, because you can create a very powerful and contained community on Instagram. It's not as open as Twitter and TikTok for discoverability by people that are outside of your ideal client. But I've noticed on Twitter and on TikTok, there are experts and people that often try to go in people's comments. Like, there'll be a dating coach talking about love and maybe attachment styles, and a psychologist will come into the comments and say, no, blah, 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 this, you're not even qualified. Sorry about your dating certification, means nothing. And then they're saying, just because you have, and I didn't realize that the person was feeling some type of way until they said, just because you have 500,000 followers doesn't make you an expert. I'm the actual expert. And it was very interesting comment to say, because if you were commenting to actually help people, to show like, no, this is actually not true, the study actually says this, versus talking about the number of followers this person has and whether or not you're more of an expert than them, it just really waters down the message, really muddies the message. Because if you're coming from a place of love, if you're coming from a place where you want to help people and your clients, don't you think that it's okay for other people to share their perspective on this issue? And especially if the dating coach is for a very specific type of group of people, like this dating coach, versus you as a psychologist. So it's just really interesting. And so I had to look at myself too, as someone that has taken dozens of certifications and is in graduate school. When I see people talking about trauma, since I've done so many hypnotherapy sessions, if I see someone that's recently certified to become a hypnotherapist and they're talking about hypnotherapy, I would never now, of course, I would never go to their page and be like, blah, 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 blah. I've done over 400 sessions. You don't know what you're talking about, So it's just really interesting how that comes off on social media. And so if you've ever thought this, or you may have commented yourself, it's something to check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and understand that the courses and certifications are just a part of your magic, a part of your skill level, a part of what you can bring to people, and helps you organize your thoughts and information in a way to deliver it to the clients, your ideal clients. But you should not make it the barometer of whether or not you deserve success and whether or not someone else deserves success. Because yes, knowledge is power, but the power is truly with the people. Power to the people. And so let's talk about how to release it now. Because I don't like to leave you hanging. So, you need to stop blaming yourself. We talked about earlier during this presentation. If you're just joining, this replay will be available on my YouTube channel on Monday. All the three IG lives I did this week will be available on the YouTube on Monday. But you need to first stop blaming yourself and understand that, especially if you're someone that holds a marginalized identity, this was something that you were taught and you're trying to release. So the fact that you feel bad about this, that means that that this isn't how you're supposed to feel. You know that you shouldn't feel this way. And so that's a good thing that you feel like this is wrong, because it's not your natural state, and it is keeping you from expressing and expanding into your natural state. So stop blaming yourself is the first thing, and understand that it's not something that you did. It's something that you're experiencing. Then the next thing that you need to do to release it is you need to find the source of your insecurities. So if it's something that happened to you personally within your personal history, or if it's something that happened to an identity that you hold to the people within that identity historically. So if it's race-based, if it's gender-based, is it sexuality-based, is it class-based? So find the source of your insecurities. Then you need to stop feeding the doubt monster. When you are feeling like when you start to doubt yourself, stop feeding into it. Stop adding more fuel to this fire of doubt. Like, oh, of course I didn't hit my sales goal. Of course no one signed up for my program because I didn't do this or I didn't do that. Release that. Stop feeding into that. And then the next thing you need to do is seek evidence of competence. Focus on finding reasons why you deserve what you have. You deserve your success. Or give yourself reasons. Do prompts like, of course I'm successful because I do XYZ. Of course I was able to do that because of this. Of course I'll be able to maintain this level of success because XYZ. Start to seek evidence of your competence, and that evidence will constantly start to appear and replace the doubt monster, replace the instances where you're caused to doubt yourself. So it's something that you need to, this will activate your reticular activating system to start to look for that evidence, that proof that you deserve to have the things that you have and do the things that you want. So, imposter syndrome is just one of the blocks to your success. But within the program, Master Your Universe, we use hypnosis and energy healing and a few other things to release not only imposter syndrome, but the sister blocks, I call them, the sister blocks of internalized oppression and perfectionism. Because when people take courses or people try to do things or techniques or habit training for imposter syndrome, they oftentimes don't get to release it because it's linked to your internalized oppression and linked to your perfectionism from intergenerational trauma. So it's very important that you understand that this is just one of the 55 blocks to your success, but you can get started on releasing it yourself with the tools, with the tips that I just provided. But that's how we release it with hypnosis. And you can always join us in Master Your 3D Universe. We begin on September 12th, 2021, and we work together for 111 days until December 31st, 2021. And so we enter 2022 releasing all of these 55 blocks. And if you want additional training on how to release the blocks, I do have a free training called Dimensional Success. So release the 55 blocks to your success if you want more information on how to do that. And then it's also in a webinar format. So then I'm not struggling with these IG slides. It's like, but thank you all for sticking with me. So if you're interested in that free training, it's a free masterclass. The link is in my bio, and I'll walk you through all the dimensions. So not just the dimension that imposter syndrome lies in, but the other dimensions to release the 55 blocks to your next level of success. And so that is it for today's training. If you're just joining, the replay will be available on Monday on my YouTube channel. And you can always join the longer formatted training through the link in my bio. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you all acting as body doubles for me recording these YouTube videos, because yes, I'm doing IG live, but really I'm recording for YouTube, and that's an ADHD hack to kind of make something easier for you to do. Because if I had to record these videos, I did have to record the videos. I was supposed to record all these videos earlier, but I was just like, la, 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 and I could not bring myself to do it. But having you on live makes me excited, and I can actually like get involved and make these IG slides. And I see that this information is really being received, so that keeps me motivated. So that's just an ADHD hack. You can always ask yourself, how can I make myself actually enjoy doing something, or how can I motivate myself to do this? And you'll receive an answer. And sometimes it'll be strange, like just make it an IG live series and then upload the replays to YouTube, but it usually works out. All right, everyone, talk to you later.